Hey DIY fam, it's me Ari and welcome back. If you're new, welcome. If you don't know, my channel is all about navigating through DIY projects for my small one-bedroom apartment while being super frugal, environmentally conscious, organized, stylish, and resourceful. I even show you how to save food that otherwise would end up in a landfill. I invite you to stick around with me as I take trash and attempt to turn it into treasure. Most times it turns out great, and other times, well, not so much. You'll also get to meet my incredibly spunky and adorable fur babies, Sage and Michael Jackson. I call them MJ for short. I enjoy sharing every step of my journey with you, and I hope you subscribe and stay a while. Grab a snack, a cup of tea, and tag along with me. Welcome to my pantry, which is very deep and has lots of floor space, but not much organization. I needed to put this floor space to use, so I had this random wooden square thing that I found on the side of the road, and I didn't want to waste it. Today, I will continue to modify it as I use it for my cans, bottles, dry goods, and all of the other things in my pantry that I just don't have the space for right now. If you watched my last video, you can see that I split this thing in half with my circular saw. While doing that, I made a boo-boo, and I kind of messed it up. But I'm ready to save it. I believe in this project and we are going to make this happen no matter what. I like to consider these starter tools because they're great to have if you have an apartment and you're on a budget, like me. Because my cats were climbing all over this thing, I had to clean it with some Dawn Power Wash, just a regular rag, and some water. In between every few wipes or so, I go in and I rinse that rag with some regular schmegler water, and then I wipe it over again to make sure there's no soapy residue. Before I head on to the next step, I let it dry, and this is super important because the wood filler has to be able to cling onto the surface. I'm using two different wood fillers. The first one is just regular Elmer's. The second one is called Quickwood, and FYI, if you haven't used this before, it's really stinky. It smells like an actual butthole. And I'm using both of them because this Quickwood has like kind of a bonding property to it. It's a bit stronger, and I wanted to use both of them just to kind of compare the two. I like to try things on my own. I like to compare different products depending on what projects I'm doing, so that's why I'm using both of them in this video. The instructions recommend to knead it and combine the two different putties into one, and once that's fully combined, you start to add it and fill your spaces, and then you have to wait for it to dry. It doesn't take too long, but I have to say this Elmer's wood filler that I'm using on the other side did dry quicker. So I just take a wet rag and wipe off the parts that are still wet and really messy, just because I'm very particular like that. These brackets were really affordable, and I really needed them for this project because how this unit was initially built was not done so great. It wasn't stable, it was wobbling all over the place, and these L brackets are a perfect way to make it more stable to hold cans and bottles and things that are super heavy. I just started off with some pilot holes so I wouldn't split the wood, even though I tried to make a shortcut before and still split the wood. Learn from my mistakes, everybody. Don't skip this step. Then I'm ready to sand. I go in with a grit that's very low. I believe this one was 80, and then I gradually brought the grit size down And the reason why I'm going hard on this first layer is because there was a lot of splinters and I didn't want to hurt myself. I'm sanding it for safety reasons, but I'm also sanding it because I have some extra paint that I'm going to go over all of these raw wood areas to make it look nice and polished. I go in and sand it by hand where I filled it with wood filler. This is some Velspar paint that unfortunately is probably expired. But no judgment here, I didn't want to waste it. It's the same color that I had used to paint this piece before. So YOLO, we're going in with a small paintbrush, painting it by hand with some nice thin layers. After 3 minutes of stirring, that paint just needed an opportunity to glow. It ended up not being so chunky after all. I did one coat because I figured, this is gonna be in my pantry. I don't need perfection. I really just need this to be functional. It took about 30 to 35 minutes to dry, and voila, as good as new. Well, not new, but as good as it's gonna get. Next step was moving it right back into the pantry after I cleared out all that stuff on the floor. And look at that. It fits perfectly in the corner. And of course, look who stops by to be nosy and has to get sprayed with the water bottle. I start placing my food items inside of it while using this blue riser that I got from a thrift store. And unfortunately, this other one did not fit in my pantry comfortably. So I moved it to my walk-in closet where I needed it for some of my folded clothes like my t-shirts and a ploppy spot for MJ. Sage joined the party and was kicked out once again. I throw in some more piled clothes, wait for Sage to do her inspections. Then I go in with a cube organizer and fit some other miscellaneous items on the left side. Now you can't see it in this shot, but there is a clothing rack that hangs right above this small piece that I put inside. I hang all of my jeans and pants that don't hang too long to cover this small piece that I put below. If I did want to hang something shorter like shirts, I can always switch it up and even remove the shirts and folded clothing so that I can store other things in the future. The good thing is that it's lightweight and it's removable, so if I ever want to change this setup in the future, I can do so. Just because you have a small space doesn't mean that you can't use every inch of it to its maximum capacity. And the best part about this project, it was very cheap, roughly $6. I really hope this video inspired you to think outside of the box. Use what you have and don't be afraid to make mistakes. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!